Hello, people of the internet. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. We are continuing to play catch up with stuff that we fortunately didn't have time for or just missed in the last couple days. Um, today we're going with a group we've never checked out on the channel before, and also a group that I've never had a comeback for yet. OnlyOneOf, and their most recent project titled Soul Drift. Now, I don't know much about this group, if anything about this group really. I think off the top of my head, I only know one song, and that's Libido, or however you pronounce it. And I had to go on Spotify real quick before hitting record on this and just click through some of their most listened to songs on Spotify and just try and see if I've heard anything. And for the very brief deep dive, it's 3-4 songs that I listened through. They've got a very unique and almost distinctive sound that not many, if anyone, in the K-pop industry are doing. They definitely have kind of this almost experimental niche sound to them. And I think that's super cool. It definitely makes them stand out in a way. And they've always, I feel like every time I listen to Libido, I find something new about it, or just find something that I appreciate that I didn't the last time I listened to it. And so I'm curious about what this one's going to be like. So let's just go into it. OnlyOneOf, I didn't realize they had I don't know if this is for every video or not, but they seem to have a very in-depth description section about their videos, and I think that's very interesting. If you want to read through it, go ahead and pause the video now. Okay. I skimmed through this a little bit earlier before I hit record just so I wouldn't waste y'all's time, but we're gonna jump into the video, and this is so in-depth. I feel like I've never seen an artist explain their MV in the description section like this. That's super cool and super neat, especially for someone who's really not too familiar with their concept. So let's check it out. Yeah, 4K English subs all ready to go. 3, 2, 1.
Gotta take away we up, yeah, ayy. 잡힐 듯 말 듯 chase ya, baby. 자유로워 make the bass up. 바람을 다 터뜨려봐, 속도를 올려 들어와 honey. 정답은 under pose, picture rules on the wall. 날 좀 pain list, no stress, stop saying list. 이 도시의 표준 연기는 it don't make sense, I made it. Can't rest, 맞춰진 내 aim shoot. 네가 걷는 구.
That single note in there threw me off for a second. I wasn't expecting it. We got a build. Knowing OnlyOneOf though. Here's the little experimental stuff that I was looking out for. I was gonna say, this part of the drop felt really normal for a pop group. But then we went into the OnlyOneOf territory that I remember from the couple songs that I've listened to. This pre-chorus is surprisingly flowy melody, melodic. Quite like it. And then you have the experimental drop. This chorus is really interesting. We can talk about it later, but from someone with like classical musical background and also just like really heavily invested in like the pop scene, this is challenging so many genre norms. Actually really cool. Also, this bridge is kind of magical. That was the longest transition between the final chorus and the bridge I think I've heard yet, just in general. Nice switch up there. Okay. Oh. You know what this is? This is musical rebellion in a nutshell. This is taken pretty much every single formula related to pop music and just chucked it out the window. I think that's so cool because this, apart from even like song structure in a way, this song just throws the like simple song formula out the window. Classical music theory and like melodic sequences out the window. Everything is like, this is like only one of its own genre, like subgenre. That's super cool. And that also makes it really difficult for me to talk about. Because it's kind of like this, me listening to the song is essentially said, hey, you know all the stuff you know about music? Yeah, sack that off. We're gonna blow your mind. That's what's just happened. Okay, I'm trying to think of where's a good place to start with this because there's so much to talk about. Let's do the second pre-chorus. And I think that might be the like most comfortable spot for me to start with. So let me quickly find that. Lower the volume a little bit. Second pre-chorus must be around here-ish, right? Yes, it is. So up until that point, this song really has an element of, don't take this the wrong way, I mean it in a positive way, musical noise. The background is very hard to pick out a distinctive melody within the instrumental sections, especially if the melodic top line is primarily rap oriented. Because it's so, there's so much going on with the instrumental. Like, this is, you know how sometimes I describe music as sounding industrial in a way? Like, I'm thinking like P1 Harmony's Back Down, like chorus drop, I said that was like industrial sound just because it's, you know, kind of clunky. It's kind of in your face a little bit. There's a lot of like ding dongs going on. There's a lot of crunchy noises going on with it. That's why I call it industrial. It doesn't get any more industrial than the instrumental for this song within the verses, which is why this pre-chorus I think stands out so much more, is because there's a major element of melody in both the instrumental and within the top line, and that melodicness increases as this pre-chorus keeps going towards the chorus drop. Like, we'll keep going. The melody itself isn't too complicated. And so, like, okay, you pause the beat, you have a big drop. That's pretty standard pop formula in a way. Like, we've heard that, you know, hundreds of times. And up until here, it just sounds like a very, kind of, I'm going to use the term again, industrial chorus. It's from here where things get interesting, because the instrumental section almost loses the melodic factor, because it now turns into what sounds like an engine revving and less of an instrument or a musical section within the background. It now sounds like the urban environment is now the instrumental track instead of an instrumental, like a proper instrumental track. And now it started with a rapping top line, and now it's gone into a melodic top line as that section progressed. But the melodic element of it has done the inverse and is now almost environmental sounds and not melodic. We'll run it again. Pay real close attention to like how the two top and bottom parts transition, because they'll reflect each other at one point. And we're back into the melodic. Back into the rapping top line. No return on the second chorus, but the instrumental drops back into an instrumental section and not just like urban cars, like urban environmental sounds. This is... We'll keep going into the bridge, but this... You kind of have an isolated 808 acting as like the instrumental part here. And this is like, in terms of melodicness of the song, this is the peak of the entire song. And then they just completely flip the script again. And that is the, like, genuinely, that is the longest transition from a bridge to a chorus that I've ever heard. It's almost like that in of itself is a bridge for the bridge. Just kind of wild. And it's so stylistically different. It's the kind of prime example of contrast creates focus within this song as like a subject field, because you have the super melodic first bridge, and then you have this entirely rhythmic rapping second bridge, and then they transition into kind of like a combination of the two into the final chorus. But this one has made my brain very tired because there's so much to break down, and it's made me think outside of the box a little bit and how to approach it. And I think that's why I quite like it, is because it's taken me out of my comfort zone. And it's genuinely made me think about music differently. That's never a bad thing for me. Some songs are super easy to digest. You can just kind of sit back and take in the music. Some songs you kind of have to think about. This one almost requires like a field guide to break down every little bit and piece of the song. And I think that's kind of like the charm of OnlyOneOf in general, is that their music is so far out of the norm and kind of so far out of the box that you can't really approach it as K-pop music. You have to approach it as OnlyOneOf music. That's super cool, and I think that's so cool that they have like their personal identity in a way is that kind of like experimentalness behind their music. Appreciate you and your song team, because they've done a very interesting job with this. But that's it for me today. Thank you all for watching. If you did enjoy and want to see more channel like on is up there. You can find the back catalog of stuff I watched in the past. Drop a subscription if you want to keep up to date with whenever I upload new videos. And if you want to watch another video of mine right away, YouTube recommends you watch that video down there. And until next time, bye bye.